Alright, welcome back to the Priest of the Necro channel, and today I think I'm going to be talking about what most people delve into first. They usually like to go for this. The Necronomicon Spellbook, also originally published as the Necronomicon Report. The Necronomicon Spellbook is but a piece of the entire Necro itself. It's usually what people most gravitate to first because it's the easiest, or it looks the easiest. Traditionally speaking, you're really only supposed to use the spells, sigils, and spirits in the Necronomicon spellbook once you've reached the Jupiter sphere of the gatewalking process, the sphere of Marduk. But most people, including myself, actually use the Necronomicon spellbook before even understanding the gatewalking because it's easier to read. There's about 7 steps in it that you go through when doing a spell, and I thought I'd talk about those and some of the cautions and some of the things that I've learned along the way. I'm going to be referring to this, and I'm also going to be referring to, I didn't show this one yet, this one, the hardcover that was the best Christmas present I ever gave myself. The other book that I carry with me all the time, the paperback Necro, that one is annotated like crazy. This one's annotated even more on the inside with probably even more colors as I figured the book out. Alright, so let's step into the Necro Spellbook. And I got little sigils in here. So basically, the Necro Spellbook works with the 50 names of Marduk that he was granted by Enki after he defeated Tiamat the serpent at the beginning of time, our time anyway, when he was granted sovereignty over the realm in exchange for defeating Tiamat, and in fact cutting Tiamat the giant serpent in half and creating heaven and the earth. He was granted 50 names, also known as 50 weapons. They're not exactly weapons per se, although some of them can be used towards malicious ends, but the 50 weapons are really 50 abilities. I like to consider them as being different visages or different aspects or personas of the same deity Marduk. Kind of in the same way how Hindus see all of their gods and goddesses as different expressions of the ultimate spiritual force, Brahman. So when you step into working with the Necronomicon spellbook, the different things that you'll need is a quiet room, about anywhere between 12 a.m. and 3 a.m., although I'm never able to stay awake long enough to stick to it. The cover of darkness is good, not only because these things are meant to be worked in secrecy or in silence, especially back in those days, because anybody that would be working with the system would be seen as mad, because in the culture of the time and in the geographical area of the time, Islam was the main religion, and of course anything that went against it would be seen as heresy. Let me put my phone on silent for a second. So you have the cover of darkness. You're also going to need 2 candles, a piece of paper, and the main thing that I use is index cards and a black Sharpie. You flip through the spell book, reading the different spirits and thinking about your desire. What are you trying to achieve? Are you trying to land a job? Are you trying to get money? Are you trying to make it rain? Are you trying to protect yourself, protect your house, relieve feelings of sorrow and weariness and sadness? Think of what you want to achieve and then look through the spellbook. I find it very handy to read them one at a time, and several of them can seem like they go for the same thing, so compare, contrast, and see which one kind of calls out to you. You draw the sigil on the piece of paper, and remember, sigils always look like some writings, symbols in a circle, and you draw the symbol first, and then the circle around it. The way that I go about it is I write the name of the spirit on the top, and then here's the key thing: the power word, or the word of calling for the spirit. I would write that underneath. Note on pronunciation: practice the pronunciation slowly and practice reading the word several times, because this is going to have to roll off your tongue when you use it. Turn all the lights off, light the candles, invoke whatever deities of the pantheon that you follow. You could invoke Allah, Jesus, God, Hera, Marduk, standard god and goddess of paganism, you name it. And then begin to think about what you want. Go into a meditative state. See yourself getting what you want, whether it's relief, happiness, money, a job, a relationship, you name it. Then you would open your eyes and read off the instructions of calling, which is a Sumerian phrase, which, once again, read very slowly. Any words that you see in Sumerian in the text, in the Necro or the Spellbook, practice them and read them slowly until you can kind of get an idea or a flow of what they say. And I've been doing this for about 2 years, so they kind of roll off the tongue. Z kia kanpa, Z ana kanpa, Z dingir kia kanpa, Z dingir ana kanpa. And then an English script follows where you call the spirit by name and state its power word. Some spirits actually don't have a power word, and there's 1 or 2 spirits that the author himself never summoned, so you'll find that out in the course of your experiments, as the book says. Now, after you've stated the invocation of the spirit in that manner, what you would do is once again go into a meditative state and really see yourself in that state that you want to be. At any time in this, after you state the invocation, I find it very, very helpful to chant the power word as many times as you can to kind of raise the energy in the room, to really connect yourself with that spirit. In terms of working with spirits, I'll probably post another video on the different aspects of calling a spirit into visual means, because there's 3 different aspects when it comes to summoning a spirit, 3 different ways in which it can manifest. I'll probably make that a separate video. So after you've summoned the spirit, there is also a Sumerian closing invocation to say goodbye to the spirit, or close the door, close the ritual. One note for anybody that's worked with paganism before: do not cast a circle when you work with the Necronomicon Spellbook. It's sort of like inviting somebody out to eat and then staring at your cell phone the entire time. It's very disrespectful. Kind of like putting your hand up in front of somebody's face when you are trying to have a conversation with them. It's very disrespectful, and of course it doesn't lead to a full connection. You could kind of also think of it as a cell phone with static. Or if you're trying to talk with somebody on a cell phone and you're in a concrete building. You get the idea. After you have done the spell, the piece of paper that you wrote the sigil on, hide it. Keep it secret, keep it safe, and keep it away from you and out of your mind. The more that you think about something that you are trying to manifest, the more energy you are taking away from it, and the more you think about it, the less it's likely to happen. Once whatever you have wanted to achieve has occurred, find the sigil that you made, burn it, and give thanks to the spirit. Because when you made the sigil and you called the spirit to help you, you are, in a sense, binding the spirit to that sigil. So when the work is done, you set it free so it can go about doing its duties, whatever it wants to do. Otherwise, you are being very disrespectful to the deities that you are working with, and you will probably have less fortunate results in the future when working with these different spirits or any other spirits. Anytime there's spirit communication, you need to be respectful, because they don't have to help you out. They really could be doing whatever they felt like doing. They don't really need to help you. They like to, for those that want to show them respect and show them, what do you call it? Fealty, I think. As far as the Necro Spellbook goes, that's basically it. But as you work with it, you may find your own methods that you like to use. You might like to use certain colors when making certain sigils for certain means. You might like to do them on certain days of the week, depending if you follow the moon cycles. Or you might even feel like doing them during the day. Me personally, I don't like doing any ritual work during the day. It just doesn't feel right to me. So if you're interested in learning more about the Necro, feel free to subscribe, like the video, and I'll be posting more about the ritual methodology of the Necro in the future. Thanks.